right, it is Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here. Jasmine Brand is here with me.
Yes.
And I'm a little nervous. Can I say that?
You can. And you've interviewed everybody, so you're nervous.
All right, well, Sheryl Ralph is here.
Thank you.
And we are going to be talking about a lot of things, but it's an honor, to be sitting with a true diva, as you are.
A divinely inspired, victoriously alive woman.
Yes.
There
we
you
have to
go.
make sure we put that out there. Don't worry, we were going to ask you about that because, like you said, for some reason, diva gets this bad connotation sometimes.
Yes. They always think of somebody that's got bad attitude, just negativity all around her, and is just so about her asks in life and takes no shame in the fact that, of course, I hit her. I hit her with my open hand. Will Smith's got nothing on me. They always think of diva like that. And it's not supposed to be that.
We love the timely example you just gave.
She's right on point.
Right?
Hey. Well, and she also did tell us while she was waiting in the green room, she said she only eats green M&Ms. So we had to handpick out.
Oh, my gosh. She picked that right up out of the book. I told her no such thing.
Hilarious.
I'd have only chosen the red ones.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The red ones
You're
and
right.
the brown ones.
Red is your color. You're also a Delta.
Yes, I am.
Member of Delta Sigma Theta. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Can you guess what Jasmine is by looking at her?
Well, I see the pink and all of that, so I'm going to think that she's an AKA.
I am an AKA, but it has nothing to do with
With the pink in your hair.
It has nothing, but yes, I am an AKA.
Also, it's the fact that you've got the green eyeliner.
It's St. Patty's Day. I have green on because I didn't want to get pinched. So
okay.
give me a pass, please.
No.
The green nails.
And I was getting ready to say the
enough.
green fingernails.
Let's talk about this book. Let's talk about this book.
But Diva 2.0, this book is out, and it's amazing, first of all. Just to see your journey from where you started to where you are now, it feels like show business was something that was in your blood.
Oh, absolutely. My mother always told me that when I was born, I was born at a time when they used to spank children. They'd hold you upside down and then slap you on your behind. No, that's real.
Okay.
They would hold you upside down, then slap you on your behind to clear out your lungs. And the story is that there was no need to slap me because I was already laughing. So
You came out laughing?
that's what she says, that I came out laughing.
But they didn't know that this was the path you were going to take. I know you went to college and you were pre-med for a hot second. You even thought you would be an attorney. And a lot of times we don't want to let our parents down.
Absolutely. And I'm an immigrant's child. My mom immigrated from Jamaica, big up Jamaica. And it was be a doctor, be a lawyer. And if you can't do that, then marry one. So that was the mantra that you had to, live up to. Thank God I did none of those things. I get to play one now and get paid for it.
Oh, my gosh.
And all of that has made my mother, when she was here on earth, very happy. I think it was about the whole monetary thing of it. Could you make a living?
Yeah.
Could you take care of yourself? Could you live without having to suffer, anything close to poverty? So when I was able to help redo her house in Jamaica, that made it real for her. Yeah. She was like, oh, this is great. I love it.
But I also could see you being an attorney. I could see you being a lawyer.
My goodness. I was doing a speaking engagement, book signing in Boston. And when I got on the plane and the gentleman said to me, so what's the case of the day? And I said, what case? He said, well, aren't you a lawyer? And I said, no, I'm not at all.
I can definitely see it.
I know. I feel like you win.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She got it.
Thank you.
And we didn't even introduce you properly. We forgot to say Emmy Award winning.
Thank you.
Sheryl Ralph from Abbott Elementary also, which, by the way, that show is one of the best shows on television right now.
No. Abbott Elementary is the best show on television right now. And I wouldn't even say it's just here in the United States. It is around the world. The way people in different cultures and languages have caught on to this show, it has been amazing. We have not seen anything like this in years when it comes to television, and I'm so happy to be a part of it.
And your role is amazing on there. It's so funny because you're like the best teacher, but also it's so hard for you to on there own up to certain things that when you set the fire and the in the school.
I owned up to that. I did. Okay.
At the end.
Thank you.
It took a little bit.
It took a moment.
Because your character's a little old school, too.
Thank you.
But I love that.
Thank
Because
you.
we all had a teacher like that.
I did.
You know what? Everybody says that. And I think that's what makes Barbara Howard so loved by people is they all think of that teacher that they had that really poured into them.
Yeah.
That teacher that really believed in them. You know, she might not remember you, but you'll never forget her.
For sure.
Yeah.
Did you have teachers like that?
Oh, my God. My dad was a lifelong learner and a teacher. My Auntie Carolyn, a reluctant teacher turned principal, Blue Ribbon School in Washington, D.C.
And didn't someone come visit her?
Oh, my God, the Queen. And not Latifah. Came to visit her. The actual Queen
that's crazy.
came to visit her school.
Well, Queen Latifah
because
is
she
also the
asked.
actual queen.
She is, too, also the actual
Well,
queen.
okay.
The other queen.
The other Queen.
Yeah.
There you go. That part.
You
Who
know,
I met the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, I
How-
saw her
how
at
was that?
it was very nice, at Variety, the Variety Fair, Vanity Fair party, not Variety, the Vanity Fair party. Baby, let me tell you, I went to some parties.
yes,
But
you
you
have.
And I saw some people.
Everyone wants to take pictures with you now.
It's
Not that they
lovely.
didn't before, but,
But it's on a whole
it's
nother
heightened.
thing now.
Yeah.
It's way up.
Way up.
Thank you.
I like that. We're using
Thank
that.
you. It's way up. And this Sunday night at the Vanity Fair party, everybody who was anybody was in the room. But it was the gold party.
Oh, yeah.
I saw all those pictures.
Yes.
Oh, honey, that set the gold standard. Let me tell you. Okay. First of all, when you walk into this room, if you're there, you already are a VIP.
Yes.
Okay.
Nobody's taking selfies with anybody because nobody needs them
Right.
with everybody because they're all going to connect on some way, some level, somewhere, or have already connected already. So they're like fist bumping, hey, how you doing? All of that stuff. Kardashians and all of that stuff all over the place. But when the golden child,
The golden child.
Miss Beyonce, entered the room, I'm not really, taken back by too many people.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sure.
But Beyonce walked right up to me with her beautiful open arms and was so lovely in her welcoming of me to the party. But it doesn't stop there.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody has seen Beyonce lately,
Okay.
but the face on this woman. Oh, my God. The woman has a glow. I don't know if it was the glow of the night. I do not know. But when I looked at Beyonce, I was like, my God. I had to tell her, I said, darling, you're just getting better with time. And I really meant it.
Right.
Because she really is.
Right. What did she say when you said that?
She just was she just took it in and she said, thank you. And it was in a genuine thank you. Then she happened to tell my son how handsome he was. And
it's
he
over.
almost died and went to heaven.
It was over.
I was like, please, honey, stay alive, stay alive. It was amazing. And then, Jay-Z chose me for the NFL Lift Every Voice and Sing. So I said to Jay-Z when I met him, and first of all, I have to tell you, he's much better looking in person.
Okay.
He's much better looking in person.
And you'd rather be better looking in person,
For sure.
by the way.
That part right there. He's much taller than you accept. He has a slim but fit build on him, so you could see why she chose Jay-Z.
Right.
You could see that,
Yes.
right? And I was like, okay, I see it. And I said, Jay-Z, why me? Why did you choose me for that moment? And he looked at me with this incredulous look, and he was like as if he was saying, why you? He was like, I'm me. Of course it was you. And you were great. He said, that song will never be the same. And I was like, oh my God,
What a night.
when your children just look at you and are loving on you and giving you your flowers, because I'm everybody's mother in my head, and all of my children do well. I was just like,
But look at
This is
amazing
wonderful.
you look, and look at your skin.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
You look good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very flawless.
Yeah, you look
Thank
good.
you. I like to take care of myself.
I can see.
Thank you. And
What-
my dad said that to me, that, along life, there'll be changes, there'll be journeys, but there's one thing you must do for yourself. And as a man of his time, it was, as a woman, you must take care of yourself. So that has been a life thing of mine. And I spent most of my time being raised by my dad.
Right.
My parents lived in two different places, and my mother took my two younger brothers to Jamaica. My dad kept the two older ones in the States, and we went back and forth, for the holidays and things like that.
Okay.
But so I really was raised from a male point of view as to what is necessary to keep yourself, in shape, moving forward, fabulous. That was important to him as his firstborn and only daughter.
And I look at you and I'm like, Sheryl, Ralph, first of all, when you're beautiful now, when you were younger, I mean, stunning, right? And I think about some of the experiences that you went through from leaving Diva 2.0, going to a school that was an all-white school for a period of time and feeling not beautiful. What was that experience like? Because I remember going from public school to private school too, and how hard that was for me. But I can't even imagine what you went through.
When I think about it now, it still hurts. It was still traumatic in many ways. The things that people said to you, the things that, oh my God, the way they treated you at times. And this was not just kids. This was adults as well. And worse than that, in my mind, these were women of gods. These were God's handmaidens, the nuns. And the way they treated me at times, I will never forget one time. Mother Superior. Okay, I went downstairs. I had piano lesson. I won't tell you it all because you can read it in Diva 2.0, available wherever it is you get your books. I went down for my piano lesson. My dad was a very accomplished pianist, and I hadn't practiced it. I didn't practice. That woman looked at me and she said, I don't have to take students like you. And it was the you. And she took her hand and she slammed the lid of the piano down. And I don't know what made me pull my hands back. But that lady was going to break my fingers. And I went upstairs to my class, which was literally just upstairs. My class was gone. Gone. There was nobody there. I walk over to Mother Superior's office. I said, Mother Superior, my class is gone. Mother Superior looks at me and tells me that liars will not be tolerated here, and there will be consequences for my lying. I walked behind Mother Superior to my classroom, and she looked at me and then opened the door. There was nobody there. There was nobody there.
Right.
Mother Superior told me then, go home. This is the middle of the day. But I know they're going to get their blessing. They're going to get their rosary beads. And I'm an Episcopalian, and I'm like, okay, we're distant cousins. Oh, no, we're close cousins. But I want my blessing, too.
Right.
So I walk to where I know they've gone to get their blessing. And I can see myself walking around this table, before I pick out my blessing, my rosary beads. Then I have to walk home, and it's 3 miles. And which, when you're young, can be kind of long.
Yeah.
Right? So I walk.
It's long now, by the way.
And it's now dark. It's the 60s. Everybody has lost their mind. They think I've been kidnapped. They don't know what has happened to me. The school cannot tell them where I am. They know nothing. And of course, back then, your parents were confused. You're lost, so then you get beat.
Right.
So I was like, after all of this, I got beat again.
Terrible day.
My spirit was beaten, then I got beat.
How old were you?
I think this was 4th grade. So I'm like 8 years old.
Yeah.
I'm young. And I'll never, ever forget that. Now, all of the other things on top of that, whole nother thing. But that, I'll never forget. Icing on the cake was years later. Okay, years later. I'm going to say maybe 2-3 years later. And we'd moved and we came back. And there was Mother St. Peter Mora walking down the street. The young woman who had slammed the lid of the piano. I remember she had this bright red hair. and these really like green blue eyes. To me, I was fascinated by all of that, right? And she looked at me and she apologized to me.
Wow.
She apologized. She said, I am so sorry. I did not know then what I know now. And I apologize. And she came down to my eye level to apologize to me. So I've had that happen several times in my life where people have made certain mistakes, but they have come back to say, I'm sorry, which in some ways it helps heal the hurt, but not all the way because it happened.
And that is one of your lessons, right? To not hold on to those things and let it go.
That's right. Do not let other people's negativity become yours.
Do you channel those emotions and that experience you kind of broke down to us?
Yes.
That pain, that hurt, and feeling helpless. Do you channel that kind of stuff in your work?
All the time. Those kind of feelings, I think as a method actor, I remember how I felt at that time. So when there comes to another challenge like that, when the character's feeling challenged, I go right back to how did I feel then? And it makes it rise right away because you remember it and the feeling is right there, Well,
let's talk about the business side of Sheryl Lee Ralph.
Yes.
Even putting this book out, Diva 2.0, let's talk about the process of you deciding who is going to publish this book.
For me, it was, I have been given an incredible platform. And I think the platform is not just for me to stand on. I think the platform is my ability to say to others, come on, let's stand up here. Let's stand up. Let's go way up. Let's go way up.
She's good.
She is. I get it.
So in publishing this book, I had done it with a big publisher, one of the big five before. You get that first check and you usually don't see.
Yeah, that's it.
No, that's it.
Right, yeah.
That's it. What they give you is what they give you. And this time I said, what if I could work with an independent publisher? What if I could share whatever we make with them and we go into it together,
right?
And that's how I chose Word E, and it's Word with 3 E's after it. And I knew Marva, and Marva had created and developed, the Human bookstore that was up.
Yeah, I know the Human bookstore.
There you go. It was up in Harlem there, and I'd known her. I always called her the literary doyenne, and so I called her up and I said, girlfriend, why don't we do this? Let's do this. And because I wanted to be prepared for what I felt was going to be the success of Abbott Elementary.
Right.
And I always say this, stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Right.
I was the one that said that to Monique. Thank you very much. Clearing that up.
Okay, all right.
But stay ready. And so I knew there was a book. And I said, let's do this book. And she said, great. Let's add pictures. People want to see pictures.
Did.
You see? All right. People love pictures.
I do.
And Marva said, let's add the pictures. And I said, okay. And then we put these life lessons together and we put the book out. And people have just started to buy the book.
Yes.
And it was the right thing to do at that time. And we're working on a children's book to come up next.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah. Mrs. Howard has to have a children's book.
Of course she does.
It only makes sense. You got to do it in character.
Oh, my
Are you going to
goodness.
have an audiobook for this?
We're going to have an audio book for this. We're going to have another launch date. It'll probably happen in April. Another launch date that you'll hear about because people are like, look, Miss Ralph, with your voice, we need you to read the book. And I'm like, that's easy. Let me read the book. Yeah.
And I know early on when you talk about Dream Girls, because that was the big success where everybody was coming to you after that. You were the belle of the ball.
Yes.
But also you didn't foresee what that could have meant for you financially at the time. So discuss that because that's something in the book that you talk about.
I, Sheryl Lee, always felt that Dreamgirls was going to be a big hit. I always felt that, but we were young. I mean, we were like, what, 20 when we started, 23, and then I turned 24 a week after opening night, of the show. So we were young.
Right.
And when you're young and you don't know a whole lot, back then, you do crazy things, like sell away your rights for $1.
$1.
To this day, I haven't gotten a check from the magnificence that is Dreamgirls, and it hurts me to my heart. Now, the cast of Chorus Line, they went through the same development process that we did, the workshopping of the show.
Okay.
They signed the same contract.
Mm-hmm.
They filed a class action suit.
Yeah.
They won.
Right.
But for whatever reason, the cast of Dreamgirls chose not to do that. And
is it ever too late to do that?
I don't know if it's ever too late, but sometimes I tell you, I look back at it and I said, I have regained and captured everything the devil took from me.
You definitely have.
Thank you.
But I also don't see why people don't
go for what is due them.
And that, and also why on the other side they don't want to do the right thing. They've made so much money. Why not? Even if it was just a small, tiny percentage.
Thank you.
Just that as a gesture to say, we see you. We appreciate what you contributed. We know you signed a bad deal that you shouldn't have signed. Let's make this right.
Thank you. And I wish, and I say to this day, because only one of them is alive out of that original creative company, I say, maybe someone will do that. Maybe someone will leave us something in their will. Maybe.
Because for you, it's probably about the principle at this point.
It's the absolute principle of it. It's the absolute principle of the whole thing.
Well, fortunately, like you said, you have recaptured everything that you should have. But I just feel like the right thing. I'm a big, like, the right thing to do type of person.
Thank you.
You know,
and that's why you're going way up.
Here we go.
Exactly.
Now, I also want to discuss other things about your brand, right?
Yes.
You are fabulous.
Thank
you are
you.
a diva. Again, tell us what diva stands for.
Divinely inspired, victoriously alive, aware, audacious, and if it was Sunday, we would be anointed. Yes.
We could be anointed on any day, right?
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Any day. We're anointed right now. Okay. And what people also have to understand is your first role with Sidney Poitier. How do you, that's way up now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I don't even know where you get to go from there, but that experience had to have left such a big impact. That had to be the time when you knew it's way up for real.
I got to tell you, Mr. Sidney Poitier was so wonderful to me. He was like having your uncle on set directing you, being so wonderful to you as his special niece and guiding you along the way. It was just an amazing time for me with him. And when I left, I was given this little black box with had all the makeup and stuff that I would need to do, to make me on any set, because he knew that there would not be the same sort of community that we had on that set as I moved into the industry. And he said to me, I wish this industry had more to offer you because you deserve it. And I look at it now, and when I say I am what believing looks like, I am what knowing that you belong here looks like, because suppose I'd left. Suppose I'd given up on my dreams.
Right.
Suppose I had stopped believing in myself. I would not be here in this time, in this space, with a book to write and stories to tell.
And as a spoiler, she was up against his daughter, okay?
Wow.
She really read the book.
He was really like
you really read the book.
I would have been like, no, I don't.
Yeah, I'm
it's
gonna take
over.
my daughter.
Why are we even doing this? Why are we here?
I mean, when I walked into that audition, that's exactly how I felt. I was like...
But that's a good lesson.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are there any roles that you're surprised that you got?
No, never. Never. There are roles that I was surprised that I lost.
Okay.
But the person who ended up getting it, they were supposed to get it.
Okay.
And that's the way God planned it, or Goddess planned it.
And people were surprised at roles that you turned down, too.
Like what?
I mean, I know you said in the book, that there's roles that you're like, because of your own morals and opportunities that you had that you could have gotten, but you said no to. Yeah. And I know that's not always an easy thing to do as you're thinking about being, getting a check, of course, because that is important. It is making a living. It's a business. Also.
I have to tell you that my career has been intentional. Mm-hmm. I wanted my people, my community, my family, the kids that I didn't have back then, to be able to look at my body of work and say, That's our Sheryl Lee Ralph. That's my mother. When young people come up to me and say, Miss Ralph, I see you, I get you, and I thank you for what you did. That was with intention.
Right.
It was done for them.
What was the most challenging role that you did take ever? Would you say that it left you feeling like, whew, exhausted? This was...
I don't really know, because all of them, and this is what happens for me as a performer, when it is well written and when you know that's your role, they jump up off of that page and into you. Their voice comes to you, the way they walk, the way they talk. I mean, look at me playing Barbara Howard. It is obvious that I'm playing a very different woman than myself. Yes, there's a kernel of me in her, but she's different. The way she comports herself, the way she speaks, her voice is deeper, the way she talks to people, the way she holds herself, her love of so many pearls. Oh my goodness. When you look at me as Dee Mitchell in Moesha, another different woman.
Right.
When you look at me as Mickey's lover in Ray Donovan, Happy St. Patrick's Day, Ray Donovan, that completely different woman.
I liked you in that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was a woman who swung on a pole, That's a whole different vibe. But all of them came up off the page and said, you got me and I got you.
You're such a performer, even when she's telling these stories.
I know.
I feel like because I feel like I was at the party just now. but it gives me like like that Mike Tyson had his one man show where he sat and he talked. Can you definitely see yourself doing something like that? Just come in, you have this book, like, 'cause you can tell a story.
And you are Broadway.
You
all
are,
the way.
yes. And just would you ever imagine doing something like that?
I was just asked by a producer if I would consider coming to Broadway to do a one-woman show for a limited run. And my first reaction was, hell no. I don't want to work that hard right now. But the more I think about it, as time passes and I can, fit it into my schedule, it's seeming more like hell yeah.
Yeah. We would go see that. Because, I also feel like even now, not enough Black people go see Broadway plays.
And that's a doggone shame.
Yeah, because
there's so many shows that we should see. You should see the Michael Jackson.
I saw that.
Just for that talented young man.
Amazing. Miles Frost,
yes. You should see Miles Frost. You should go and experience The Harder They Come at the Public Theater.
We need to go to that. I saw Tina Turner.
You should see Tina Turner. There's so many things that we should see, but there seems to be a problem with the Broadway community in not knowing how to market to the Black community. For whatever reason, for 45 years that I know about, they have had a problem reaching out to communities of color.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about that, because I went to go see For Colored Girls on Broadway, and it came and went.
Yes, it did.
And I felt like it wasn't properly marketed.
It was not.
But I went
and it was amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
Did you see Thoughts of a Colored Man?
No, I didn't see that.
See, that one was another one. We got killed by COVID. I was a producer on that.
Okay.
And then there was the Ohio State murders with Audra McDonald, a wonderful story that a lot of people missed that should have seen. I was a producer on that as well. But there's so much out there.
That's something I definitely want to highlight more, is going to the theater.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it is like the perfect. I went to go see The Black Odyssey on opening night, and that's in a play on 13th Street. So I went there to go see that. But I enjoy going to the theater so much. Your phone is away.
Yeah.
Just like going to the movies. And I think it's just another level of like the fact that it's a one-take thing.
That's it.
You go up there and...
There's no cut.
There's no cut,
No, there's no, can I try that again? No. You have to know your lines because everybody else is depending upon you.
And I can't tell, like, if somebody messed up a line, to be able to keep going.
That's right.
So that we don't even know. That's a whole nother type of skill.
Right.
To be able to have.
I was doing a show called Thoroughly Modern Millie on Broadway. And I had this monologue about my green glass love. And this particular night, my God.
What happened?
I couldn't remember.
See, that has to happen.
I couldn't remember. And I was talking about bottles of green glass and green this and green. It would have been perfect for St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I was just lost. The first time that happened to me, though, I was doing Dreamgirls. And I remember it was one night only. You want all my love and my devotion. All of that. Honey, after that, blank. And I remember hearing the stage manager say, her mic's dead. The on-stage manager said,
no, it's
her,
not.
Her brain is dead. And at that moment, I realized it might be time to take a long vacation and possibly move on.
Right.
And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was a sign.
You listen to your body.
I listened to all of it.
Yeah.
I listened to the vibes. I listened to the signs. All of that stuff. It's there. All we have to do sometimes is listen. Because, it's speaking to us. But sometimes we want to listen to something else. You have to listen to your gut. You have to listen to your own self. You have to accept your own vibrations because they're there for you to receive and answer.
What was your first big investment?
My first big myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My first big investment was in myself. And that investment in myself has paid off. It has paid off in the way I look. It has paid off in the way I have been able to raise my children. It has paid off in the way I've been able to stay married to my second husband, Senator Vincent Hughes of Pennsylvania, Philadelphia in particular. It has paid off in the ways that I've been able to build my brand, build my business, and as a Delta, when we go to our conventions, your convention, my convention, everybody has something to sell. And I would do these T-shirts. And the T-shirts, there were times when I needed to sell some T-shirts. And they got me over some humps.
We'll buy some apparel.
We will buy some apparel, baby.
Yes, we will.
To this day, I never go to a Delta event without some sort of merchandise. I'm telling you, because we will buy.
Yeah.
So, building upon that, now my kids have taken it over with their nonprofit Walk Good LA and, their merch and things. And my son put out there, the graphic of me and this is what believing looks like. Mm-hmm. People bought the bags. They bought the sweatshirts. They bought the T-shirts. All of that stuff, it adds up. I was crazy about red lipstick,
right.
And I did the reds and people bought the lipstick.
That's
it was
right.
a really good lipstick too. And I like to give people quality, but I've learned this one thing. I always felt that if I could give you the best for the least amount of money, you would want it. That's not the case.
People like to pay.
They want to pay.
Yeah. People think the more expensive it is, the better it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So now my days of getting the lower price, they're done.
Guilty.
Yeah, that's definitely you.
Because sometimes I'm looking for stuff and I'm like, which one should I get? I'm like, well, this is cost a little more. It's probably better.
See?
The quality might be better.
They got me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
What about being a Delta in a sorority? What has that done for you?
I don't have sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have thousands of sisters. And it is wonderful for me, and I'm sure you feel like this with your sorors, it is wonderful for me to walk into a room of women who are, one, happy to see you,
Yeah.
two, welcoming you with open arms, and three, want to tell you what's going on with them and want to hear what's going on with you. And that to me is absolutely magic. So I love also the attention to scholarship, that education is important, the attention to community, attention to the people in the community. And now we're having a new shift to an attention towards self, that your health and well-being really matters. I just love all of that.
Yeah. No, I'm into health. I got my green juice right here.
Come on now.
And one thing I wanted to ask you about in the book, and you kind of, you didn't get into detail about it. Yeah. You talk about the Me Too movement, and you even said an experience where a promoter put his hand on your leg, and that would happen at times, right? Mm-hmm. And so, and I noticed that you didn't get into detail about it, but do you feel like that's something that has had any effect on your career in any way at all, and B, that you would at some point get more into detail about, because it is, like you said, with the Me Too movement and that happening all the time, that's a hard thing for women to even speak up about.
Hence, I didn't say a whole lot about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
and not like detailing names or who it is, but just even the effect that has on you. Because
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Because, you know, oh my God. It's like I can think about these things. And I tell you, there was one incident where it was like the third time something like this had happened to me. And I thought to myself, what did I do to deserve that? My skirt is at my knees. Mm-hmm. I have on a sweater blouse. What made this man think that he could just come over and put his hands on my body in front of, he didn't know me.
Right.
He did not know me. And I was in that, it passed. Years later, I was in a situation and that man walked through the door. He sat down at the table across from me. Mm. He did not remember any of this, but I had to let him know what he did that night.
Mm. Oh, so you confronted him.
Oh, I absolutely confronted. He was right there.
Right.
I had to confront him about it. Do you want to know what was the shocking part? Everybody around the table was appalled that I would stand up for myself.
What?
They were appalled. They told me that I should be ashamed of myself.
What?
And why would I even bring that up? And at the dinner table.
That's crazy. And that's why women find it difficult to speak up.
That's why.
Because you don't get the support. People don't believe you. They don't understand why you're bringing it up. They're like, well, why didn't you say something at the time?
Thank you.
Because it's a feeling of powerlessness that you have at the time. And you're also shocked.
And people don't support you.
Yeah.
I could tell you of another time. This was a famous TV judge, not Judge Mathis. I love him. He's a great man. Not him.
Well, good, because I love Judge Mathis too. I don't know him personally.
I would hate to have to cancel Judge Mathis.
No. He's a great man. This was another one. I'm at a very public place. I have on, like you see me, I was suited. I had my suit on. I was handling my business for the television show I was on at that time. He and I were on the same network. This man walked in, grabbed me by the back of my neck, turned me around and rammed his nasty tongue down my throat.
Oh, my God.
Serious?
And everybody at the network saw it. And the mayor of New Orleans at the time was, why am I blanking on his name?
Mark Morial?
Mark Morial. I called Mark Morial. Mark Morial, he said, you want me to send the police there right now? Because we will fix his you-know-what right now. Somebody at the network tapped me on the shoulder. They said, please don't. Do you know that they did not want any bad press?
Yeah, I can believe it.
Around their show.
Yeah.
And did not care what had just happened to me. It wasn't so bad after all. Was it? That's the kind of stuff that happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's what makes it hard for women to speak up about these things.
And I'm glad you said that, because I hear that all the time when women come forward. People are like, well, why is she telling this story now?
Thank you.
Well, why didn't she say something when it happened?
Thank you.
And that's why.
Women don't get the support.
Thank you.
And even
for
you
to see it. They saw what happened. It's not that bad, is it? Please don't say anything. We don't need the bad press. It's a brand new show. Yours is a new show. I was like, Lord have mercy.
They don't think, well, this is going to hit the fan because he's going to do this to somebody else because we're protecting this. Yeah. Right. And even you questioning what you were wearing, like, what did I do to make this happen? Because people think that too. Well, what did you have on? Well, why did you bring that to his room? Well, he told me we wanted to look at his script, and people act like it's your fault. Right. You shouldn't have been in that position, or you shouldn't have been wearing this. So when I was reading that, I was like, I can't even imagine the things that you've been through. Being in this business as long as you have, and we might not have heard it publicly, but I just think it's important because there's so many women that might feel like they got some power from hearing you talk about it too.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. You know, if a man invites you up to his room and it's the middle of the night, don't go.
Right.
Have him meet you down in the lobby.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will tell you that one time, Michael Jordan invited me up to his room.
What time was it?
It was in the middle of the night.
Okay.
I did go, and you know what we did? We ended up playing backgammon. We talked about our parents. We talked about our families. And we ended up being good friends for a long time. We had no sex whatsoever.
Right.
In fact, he referred to me as the big sister. And I said, I'm always the big sister. You know, and we just had the best time ever.
Yeah, there's good people and bad people.
Yes, there are.
What kind of advice do you have for someone who works in Hollywood and is a woman and went through an experience like you went through? Like, what advice would you give them? Speak up or no, or?
It's hard. I would say nowadays, speak up, tell your truth, do not carry the burden of that pain, and especially if it's something you feel that you cannot work through. Because, you know, situations like this, experiences like this, drive some people crazy.
Yeah.
It hurts them to their core. They get changed forever.
Yeah.
You know,
some people never work again in the business.
They never work again in this business. You know, I am shocked that we're seeing what happened with the whole Harvey Weinstein of it all. Mm-hmm. I'm shocked that they were actually able to take him down. You know, there are some other men that can yell out loud, just grab them by the you-know-what.
Right.
You know?
Right. And they become president.
And they become, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so you just never know. And people do lie.
Yeah.
They straight up lie, and people do believe their lies. And you can get very deeply hurt. But try to protect yourself. You know, try to protect your spirit as much as you can.
Right.
And try, you know, there's a thing called discernment. Mm-hmm. Try to, you know, we say feel the room, feel the experience, feel the person's vibe, because people can't help but show you who they are, you know. So protect yourself. Don't go anywhere you think there might be trouble. Just don't do it. Listen to the signs.
Well, listen, Sheryl Lee Ralph, we thank you so much for coming through. We did, like, this went a whole nother, I feel like we could talk to you for maybe like 4 or 5 hours. I'm not even going to lie. Just about everything, because there's so many gems in this book, Diva 2.0, 12 life lessons from me for you. And I have to say, it did touch me. I learned a lot more about you than I ever knew before, just your whole career path. We've always seen how talented and amazing you are. So this just took it to another level for me.
Thank you. And I want to encourage other writers, you know, if you really, writers and celebrities, if you really, really want to get into publishing your book, not everybody's a great self-publisher.
Right.
You can find independent publishers like Word-E, Marva Allen, and I'm working on getting my own imprint there. We want to see your books, and we want to help you make your money. You don't have to wait on somebody else. You don't have to wait on the big five. If it's your time, let's see what you've got. Let's read your book. Let's help you get on the journey of empowering yourself to make your own money.
Yep, get a better deal this way, too.
Get a better deal, better.
Sure. We all make money together. Thank you so much, Sheryl Lee Ralph.